dry clean one, perhaps you're gay. Is there a point to all these fancy clothes? With all these buckles from your head down to your toes. It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Is there something that you're trying to prove? With all the makeup and the way you move, are you looking for some sympathy? No, I'm trying to be the best girl I can be. It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Like my martinis dry, cosmos I won't deny. Smoke those long cigarettes. Thank God I'm not dead yet. Done all these crazy things, short of a wedding ring. Just another girl.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Callista Sola, and you're watching NLC Trans. Tonight I'm here with my dear friends and co-hosts, Tara Alexander and Stacy Dozier. And we're going to talk about some things that are in the news, I think, first. But before we do that, I just wanted to say something very quickly. We have a friend who is in our community who just had surgery and is apparently having some complications and problems, and that being Annie. And I just wanted to say that I don't think she can watch us, but certainly we wish her a speedy recovery. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff in the news, I think. There was something I pulled up. I'm not sure what you've got. I know you've got a pile of papers in front of you.
And she's got a bunch of notes too.
You do. Probably all the same things. we don't talk before the show.
Fortunately,
There's no planning that goes into this.
the broadband connection has now freaked out,
Oh.
and so I may have trouble getting to some of my notes, but
A
we'll rely on my memory.
A freaky broadband connection, yes. Anyway.
To use the technical terminology.
Right. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the D.C. gay marriage thing if
Sure.
you guys don't have anything on that. But
Oh, I have something from a Utah congressman on that.
you do? Oh, well, we'll want to
Go
hear
ahead.
that. Anyway, I'll just go over this briefly. This was something I got off the web today. This was from, where was this from? Oh, Sphere News, which I'm not really even familiar with, but anyway, Sphere News. D.C. passes gay marriage, Congress to weigh in. Washington, in a vote that sets up the first test of gay marriage in the U.S. Congress, the District of Columbia City Council on Tuesday voted to make same-sex marriage legal in the nation's capital. The 11-2 decision, the second of two decisions by the council, clears the way for Mayor Adrian Fenty to sign the bill into law. It starts a 30-day review period in Congress, but advocates expect the Democratic majority on Capitol Hill to allow the measure to become law in March. Interesting, because obviously D.C. is sort of a special case,
Yeah.
being that it's not a state, and so it's sort of a different set of rules. But that's interesting.
Yeah.
And you had a comment from?
I believe this was off the Advocate, from Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz. Told the Salt Lake Tribune that he'd do whatever he could to block the marriage equality bill that passed in the Washington, D.C. Council on Tuesday. A Republican member of the subcommittee that oversees the District of Columbia, hence the special,
Right.
recognizes that blocking the bill will likely be a challenge, but he'll do whatever he can to stand in its way. His stand against marriage isn't a new one. Speaking of gay marriage with the Associated Press in October, he said, "Some fights are worth fighting for. This is one of them." In the past 25 years, Congress has only rejected 3 pieces of legislation passed by the D.C. legislature.
I agree with him. This one is worth fighting for.
Absolutely.
We're on opposite sides, but anyway, interesting.
With all the problems in the country and all the problems in the world, This is
Yeah.
what you should be spending your time.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting thing, isn't it? Priorities, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what else is going on in the world?
Well, you had some news about New York as well.
New York, I was thrilled to hear that the governor was, so I think it was today at 10:30, was supposed to sign a policy statement saying that state employees would not be discriminated against because of their gender identity,
Right.
Wow.
which is an amazing, a great step forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Governor Patterson signed an executive order that broadens the non-discrimination protection of state employees to include gender identity and expression.
This is always a good thing.
So as they said, the executive order only covers state employees. However, more comprehensive legislation to ban discrimination based on gender identity and expression throughout the state has also been proposed in New York. It has also been proposed here in Connecticut. This will be the 5th year it goes up before the legislature. We don't have a bill number yet because they're sort of in recess. Says, according to the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, 12 states and the District of Columbia have laws to ban workplace discrimination based on gender identity. New York City joins 8 other states. New York State joins 8 other states to have laws to ban work. Delaware, Pennsylvania, Kansas, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Maryland, Michigan, with executive orders to protect transgender public employees.
We're making progress, but you know, this is certainly an issue that's near and dear to our hearts.
Well, and yeah, it sucks to lose your job because someone doesn't like the fact you're trans.
Yes.
They said in the state of New York, it said the order comes at a point when the nation faces high unemployment rates. New York's is currently at 8.7. Among transgender people in New York State, however, the rate of unemployment is at least 14%. Another 19% of transgender New Yorkers responded to the survey said they earn less than $10,000 annually.
I read another part of one of these statements that cited a statistic that 47% of trans people report that they have either been fired, denied promotions, denied employment because they're trans, and that's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is. It's horrible, and certainly we need to change that. And this is going to be our year.
Well, and certainly just with the numbers they've given here, you're looking at 33% of transgender respondents in New York State are unemployed or earning less than $10,000 a year.
Yeah, which is virtually unemployed, isn't it?
Which is
Right.
virtually unemployed.
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, yeah. So this year,
And those numbers don't take into account more discrimination aspects, denial of job promotions and other factors.
Right.
So, yeah.
yeah, it's a terrible thing. Discrimination is a bad thing, bad, and we need to stop it on everywhere. There should be no discrimination.
Right.
You know, God, you look at this is almost 2010.
Right.
You know, why do we still have discrimination?
Well, along those lines, you know, the same-sex marriage vote in New York failed recently. Well, they polled on it. 47% of voters in a Siena College poll said they were disappointed that the Senate rejected the bill.